So, hi Heidi, thanks for joining me today. So, I'm going to kick things off with the first question is what did you do prior to becoming a celebrant?
Um, so I still do the same job now as well. So I do it alongside Celebrancy, but I'm a clinical psychologist. Um, so I work with amputees in amputation rehabilitation. So I work for the NHS a few days a week, and then I do Celebrancy as well.
Amazing. So, what made you choose to become a celebrant then?
Um, I mean, growing up, it had always been a bit of a joke between my friends of me sort of getting ordained and doing their weddings. And obviously, I'd never really looked into it seriously or anything like that. And then a few years ago, one of my friends died after um, a diagnosis of bowel cancer, and he got married, and then 6 months later, he ended up dying. And he had a celebrant for his wedding, and then the same celebrant did his funeral. And it was just in probably the least morbid way possible. It was one of the most amazing funerals that I think I've ever been to. She knew him so well, having met him for his wedding as well. She'd met him in the in between. So we all knew that he was going to die eventually, and she'd met him. He'd helped kind of plan his own funeral essentially with her, and just as a friend at that funeral, it really made me recognize the power of what celebrants can do, and it wasn't something I'd really thought about until that point. And then after meeting her there, I started looking into it a lot more seriously. Um, I have a bit of a background in performing. And then alongside psychology, I think it felt like it was a really good blend of some of the skills that I have. And I thought I could really make a difference, especially in funerals initially. And I was working in major trauma at the time. So I was having a lot of experience with end of life conversations, but then wasn't able to go any further than that because of the way the commissioning worked in my job. And so it meant a lot of um, not very much closure when an accident ended in a fatality. And I felt like I wanted to do something to be able to be present for the families after um, after there was a fatality, as opposed to just having that support kind of stop. So yeah, it just felt like it came at a really good time for me. It came at a time when I wanted to reduce some of my clinical work as well, um, and to have to start up a business and give that a go.
Amazing. So, why did you choose to train with AMC then?
I did a lot of research, and I had met a couple of celebrants by that point. Then I was living in the southwest at the time, and I'd met a few different celebrants in the area and spoken to them about where they'd trained. I'd met a couple of humanist celebrants, and I think one of the things that really attracted me was that I wanted to be able to be completely independent and not have any kind of belief system or anything sort of influence in it. And I think that AMC just felt like it gave a lot of the freedom. It really fitted well in around. I was still working essentially a full time job at that point. I hadn't dropped my hours yet, so it fitted in well around my life, my everything else that I was doing, um, and the support from the community. And I mean, I was so lucky doing weddings and funerals. I had two amazing mentors. And I say I was lucky, but actually, I've had interactions with all the other mentors as well who weren't my mentors during my training. All of them have been wonderful. So I feel like I would have ended up with a great one no matter what. And I think, yeah, the community and the kind of post and during my training kind of really speaks to how AMC is as a organization, and the support has continued. I'm sort of 2.5 years on launching my business now, and I'm still part of the community and still meeting new celebrants every day from graduating and things like that. So yeah, I think the community aspect and just the way that the training fits and was kind of organized felt really good for me and where I was in my life at the time.
That's really good to hear. So, how did the AMC support your learning and your growth to be a celebrant?
Yeah, so I mean, the courses were really, really eye-opening. I think the way it kind of goes right back to basics almost, and it's just like, let's just what is celebrancy? What are the laws around wedding? Because I did weddings first. What are the laws? What can you do in this country? What can't you do? Um, you know, I think I had this idea of what celebrancy was, but I didn't really know the sort of what was going on legally and what we could do and what we couldn't do and how much scope there was. And I think it really helped with that sort of right from basics. It really helped with my writing. Like I said, I come from a bit of a performing background, and I feel like I had some of the clinical skills that could help with listening to people's stories. But what I really didn't have, and what I think the course really helped with, was developing those writing skills and learning to write for different audiences, and also just giving me a lot more confidence in those skills. The business modules as well. I'd never set up a business myself, bless you. um, I'd I did a bit of private psychology work, but in terms of sort of having a business up and running, and so the business modules really help with branding, marketing, all of that. And the Facebook page, the Q&A sessions, all of that was just really instrumental. Being able to just pop on and ask a really quick question, or search the group for kind of questions that get asked quite a lot, and having the support and being able to network with other celebrants in my area. So I lived in the Southwest and now I'm in the Midlands, and in both places we've had WhatsApp groups set up with different celebrants, and getting to know other people in the area is really lovely. But also it essentially gives people, if someone can't take a booking for some reason or something happens, we have a network of people around us that we know are trained to the same standard as well, which is really important for me. I'm sure there's wonderful celebrants who are trained with all sorts of organisations, but for me, knowing what we have to go through for the AMC training, it gives me a real good sense of confidence in my fellow celebrants who have trained from AMC as well. And I know I could hand a ceremony over to them and trust that it would be performed the way that I would want it to be done.
That's great to hear. That network and that community is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone starting on their celebrant journey?
Um, be open-minded, I think. Be curious. I think the biggest thing is to have no expectations. I think it's probably one of the things that I see the most in the group is people chatting about, oh, should I do this? Should the person be doing this? Should we stand here? Should we? And a lot of the time, a lot of the responses are just ask whoever you're working with, ask your clients, because we all have this preconceived idea of how ceremonies should run because we've grown up seeing them done in a certain way, and a lot of the traditional ways are either, I guess, religious ceremonies, whatever religion you kind of follow, or for weddings, registrar-led ceremonies. And I think we have an idea of it needs to be done this way, but actually celebrancy opens up a whole world of different ways of doing things, and it kind of throws the rule book out the window, which I love. But it is hard sometimes to let go of some of those traditions because they're so ingrained in us that when someone gives you the complete freedom and just says, well, do whatever you want, you're like, but what should I be doing? I know you're saying I can do whatever I want, but what way's right? And I think so having that kind of curiosity, that open-mindedness, and seeing every family, couple, that we work with as complete individuals, and kind of taking it right from scratch with them and being like, what do they want? What do they need for their ceremony? And working from there, I think that's the biggest advice I would give to someone starting training, I think.
So, what was the best part of your own AMC experience?
Working with the mentors, 100%. So I had Miranda for my weddings and Julie for my funerals, and they are both so knowledgeable, so fun. And as I mean, I've done quite a lot of studying because I had to do a doctorate to become a clinical psychologist. So I've done undergrad, masters, and doctorate. But actually, nothing kind of prepares you for the type of feedback you get from your mentors, because it's not the same as a university course where you just have someone marking your work. It's more like an apprenticeship of sorts, I guess, where you have that real live feedback with someone who's incredibly knowledgeable. And yeah, just working with the two of them and really honing my skills, and for them allowing me to just be me and really growing that, rather than trying to fit me in and say, oh well, you need to do it this way because this is how we would do it. They're very encouraging of, well, if this is the way that you are, lean into that, do that more, bring that more to the work that you're doing. And I think that just gave me so much confidence. And I mean, even a couple of months ago, I messaged Julie and was like, help, I really need help with, so I've got a bit of a sticky situation, can you help me? And she was, yeah, let's set up a Zoom, what do you need? And so I think that support has carried on and has been really, really great. So that was probably the best part for me of my training, for sure.
That's lovely to hear about your mentor journey though, and how influential that was on you becoming a celebrant. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about where you are now. So how is your business progressing and what are you doing now in the celebrant industry?
Yes. So things have been gone really well since I launched my business. I launched about 2.5 years ago. As I said, I was living in the southwest, so I was in Plymouth at the time, and did really well. I recently relocated to the Midlands, so it's been a really interesting journey because I had to sort of put on pause taking some bookings. And now I feel like I'm back in almost not where I started, because I'm there with a lot more confidence and a lot more skills and a lot more ceremonies under my belt. But I am having to go back out around kind of wedding fairs and doing a lot of the TFP shoots, which is like style shoots with other suppliers to get my network of suppliers up. So it's been a real journey because I got to a stage where I was getting a few regular bookings, had a few suppliers, and the same with funerals as well. I had a funeral director I worked quite a lot with in Plymouth, and having moved, it's kind of building up those networks again. But I think it's going well. I've had some bookings come in already from moving. I've started work with a couple of funeral directors here as well, and had some repeat bookings from them, which is obviously always a sign, hopefully, that you're doing things right. And actually, it was a real full circle moment for me, because I had my very first booking ever after launching the business. So I went to a wedding fair a month after I launched my business in Plymouth. And that at that wedding fair, I got a booking from a couple, and their wedding was actually this year. So it was 2 years ago they booked me. They took a chance on me having no ceremonies under my belt at that point. And obviously they got the benefit of experience a couple of years later, because I'd done a lot more ceremonies by the time it got round to theirs. And that was a couple of weeks ago. So it was really nice kind of coming back round to that first ever ceremony booking. And yeah, just looking forward to working more with the suppliers here in the Midlands, and rebuilding the business back up. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear your microphone either
How
went
do
off.
you think your life has changed since you became a celebrant?
So I dropped my hours in my main job. So I think that's been really nice for my work-life balance, and my kind of own well-being as well as a psychologist. So that has changed massively. I think I talk about weddings a lot more than I ever have done in the past. Um, um, I this year I'm getting to officiate my best friend's wedding in Greece, which is just an amazing honor and a privilege, and something I probably, like I said at the start, had only ever joked about with my friends, which is amazing. And I think also I feel like I go around, I don't know if this is a celebrant thing or not, but I feel like I go around a lot and end up at weird places and go, oh, this would be great for a ceremony. You could do this. Like I was at the Bristol Balloon Festival this weekend, with my family, and a couple got engaged, and I thought you could actually have a really great ceremony at the balloon festival. Like you could do it in a hot air balloon, or you could do it in all these different areas. And I thought, oh, and you just kind of end up, even if you go for a walk in the woods, you kind of think, oh, you could hold a ceremony there. And it's like you have this celebrant brain that kind of just switches on all the time, and you're just thinking about, or you see a creative idea, or you see something done differently, and you kind of think, oh, that would look really good in a ceremony, or oh, that would be really fun. When you listen to certain music, you're like, oh, actually, that would be lovely in a funeral or something, of if someone had this kind of personality. See readings everywhere. I think you just kind of have that switch in your brain where you get loads of creative ideas. And I think I hadn't, being a clinical psychologist, didn't have as much creativity in my life as I do now. So it's really nice. And my house is just filled with bits that I've collected that I'm like, oh, in case someone wants that for a ceremony. Lots of empty jars and things like that.
That's great. And it's nice to sort of see how your previous role and this new role fit together as well, and how it gives you a different space and a different way to be creative and a different way of working, which is the best of both worlds for you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you could say one last thing to anybody out there who is thinking, could I be a celebrant? Should I be a celebrant? I don't know what to do. I don't know which training course to pick. What would you give? What's the one bit of advice you would give them before they start their training?
I think it would probably be that there's space and room for any type of personality within celebrancy. And so the idea of, oh, I don't know if I could do it, I think, or if I'm the right type of person, I think being you is your biggest selling point, and having your personality. Like no one else is you, so no one else is going to do a wedding the same as you, or a funeral, or a baby naming, or any other kind of naming. Every single person who trains in celebrancy is going to come out different and themselves, and have something really unique and special. And there's also plenty of clients out there who will connect with that. And I think doing the research, it's not easy, I think, is the other thing to say. Sometimes people kind of see it as, oh, I'll just become a celebrant, and actually the work behind it is a lot. It is a job and a career, and something you have to work hard at. But it is incredibly fulfilling, and I think it's a really nice way of supporting people and being with people through some of the biggest moments in their lives. And for me, it is about those different life stages. And I mean, that's why my brand in my business name is Seasons of Life, because it's about the different seasons of someone's life. There's also a little nod there to musical theatre. But I think it is really, really fulfilling, but it's tough, and it does take work. But I think if you find a good network wherever you end up training, although obviously I would always plug AMC because I think they're amazing. But if you find a good network and you find a good community, then it does make it so much easier.
Brilliant. Thank you. So tell everybody how they can find you, how they can look you up on Instagram or Facebook or on the
Yeah.
World Wide Web.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook as Seasons of Life. I'm on Instagram, which is seasons.of.life.hm. Seasons of Life was taken. Uh, and I can be found on the Celebrant directory. I'm also on a couple of other directories as well, like the Quirky Wedding Fair directory, and on Hitched as well. So I can be found on all of those.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Heidi, and for sharing your journey with us. It's been really lovely to hear your side of your experience of becoming a celebrant and where you are now.
Thank you.